Thank you, Chrissy, and thank you all. Firstly, good afternoon, everyone. It's great that you've all stuck around long enough to hear about strategic energy resources. And given that SER is probably not on the watch lists of most of you, I thought I'd start by explaining our exploration strategy and then walk you through our major greenfield projects while highlighting the news flow to come in the next 9 months. And look, I'll start with this image, taken from drill hole CNDD001A. Which forms part of a 132-metre intersection grading at 0.1% nickel, which included a 2-metre intersection grading 0.68% nickel from 507 metres at our Canobie project drilled in December last year. This represents our exploration space, deep undercover, where Australia's next Tier 1 discovery will be found. We have a science-driven approach to exploration and a pipeline of greenfield projects that maximises our chance of success. I'll get this to work. Perfect. Standard disclaimer for everyone. We are a junior exploration company, and this also appears on the website and on the ASX platform. What is SER? We are a specialised undercover explorer, there we go, project generator, focused on discovery in the greenfield exploration frontiers of Australia. We're currently exploring across 4 major greenfields projects, which all have one thing in common. They're all located along the undercover extensions of known mineralised terrains. Quite simply, what does that mean? It means that if you follow the same controlling structures that occur on our projects back towards areas of shallower cover, so the amount of dirt on top is less, you'll find significant mineral deposits. The first 2 projects are located amongst the most heavily mineralised rocks in the world in Queensland and form part of our Isa Undercover initiative. And these are the Canobie and then Isa North projects, and note the significant mineral deposits that are close by to where we are currently operating. The third is in New South Wales. We're also chasing known mineralisation undercover at our South Cobar project, which lies a long strike from the Browns Reef polymetallic deposit and also captures an extension of the Achilles Shear. And our fourth project, which is truly a greenfields project that we started in 2019, is between Mount Isa and East Tennant region in Northern Territory. Greenfields projects by nature are hideously expensive, and they are remote, and we understand that. And along with traditional capital raisings to fund exploration, we continue to generate new projects which we divest to fund future exploration. We like to enter into JVs. The one project that we have currently under JV is with Fortescue Metals Group. I'll talk a little bit more about that later on. And we pursue co-funding grants, and that's a major way for a junior company like us to get into a greenfields region and undertake exploration at a lower cost. And so far we've managed to jag 5 of them. Over $600,000 is money that we've brought into the company to fund exploration that we haven't had to go to shareholders. Corporate structure, we have a young and energetic board represented by Stuart Regner as Executive Chairman, also a Non-Executive Director of Kingston Resources. Anthony McIntosh, who's on the Director of a number of listed and unlisted companies across Australia, formerly on the board of Echo Resources before it was bought out by Northern Star in 2019. A geological team, very small unit between Neil Chalmers and Dr. Chris Yates. Neil brings the youth and experience in project generation, while Dr. Chris Yates is the foremost expert in New South Wales geology and the ex-director of the survey. 284 million shares on offer. You'll note we don't have much cash. That is deliberate. The last capital raise we did last month, we only opened it to shareholders that were current. We had directors and major shareholders tipping some money in to keep us going through our next exploration campaign. And that's a result of the hideous structure that's out there for anyone who's a junior who wants to raise money, but also endorsement of our strategy. If our major shareholders, including the board, are willing to put in money at a time like this, you know there's a reason to. And some of you may recognise DAC Capital as one of our major shareholders. Long-time supporter of the company since 2020, understands our strategy, and he's in there for the exact reason the shareholders wanted to put more money in the recent round. They understand the projects and the strategy behind us. On to our first projects in Canobie, located 150 kilometres northeast of Cloncurry, capturing a 100-kilometre north-south swathe of the Canobie Fault, which can be traced all the way back along the Mount Margaret Fault to a small mine called Ernest Henry. In 2016, we acquired the Lucky Squid project, a high-grade gold hits from Falcon Minerals. The project had a number of high-grade gold intercepts, including 17 metres at 6.7 and 15 metres at 9.09 grams per tonne gold. In 2019, we entered into the project with a view of connecting the dots. In fact, we did. We managed to return high-grade gold, 6 metres at 12 grams per tonne from 519 metres. At that point, we decided there's something more here than just Lucky Squid and took the punt on a 2,000 square kilometre tenure, expanding north and south, capturing not only Lucky Squid, but also the Tea Tree prospect, which had some evidence of nickel. We went back to extend the strike, fortunately we were unable to, but the 2,000 kilometres that we had pegged was worthy of follow-up. So we turned our attention to the Canobie Domain more broadly and went back through some of the historical results, and it turns out nickel's in the system. This is an area that's not traditionally known for nickel, but we were focused on determining whether or not that is real. And in 2008, the drilling to intersect by Anglo-American 10.4 metres at 0.28% nickel. Not high grade, but where there's nickel, there's more nickel. So in fact, numerous drill holes in prominent geophysical features returned significant nickel intercepts, which last year allowed us to then go ahead and peg not only that area, but increase the area that is in the surrounding tea tree and apply for some co-funding. And that co-funding was to test a magnetic feature away from the high-grade gold towards the tea tree nickel. And in fact, those two drill holes are responsible for that photo on the first page. That 132 metre intersection grading 0.1% nickel in the first hole and 43 metres intersecting 0.1% nickel in the second hole. Since December last year, the whole project's been viewed through a nickel lens and a revised geological model has been established. A key finding of the gravity highs, which are the red in this image, is mapping the intrusive body hosting nickel. And as far as analogies go, we're drawing comparisons from the Fraser Range Nova Bolligen deposit to put this project into some form of geological perspective. Last month, we completed a gravity survey covering the region north of Tea Tree, and we anticipate the enhanced resolution of the gravity data will translate in identification of more prospective areas for a follow-up drill campaign. Our second Greenfields project is located 200 kilometres north of Mount Isa and captures over 80 kilometres of the Mount Gordon Fault, host to the Capricorn mineral deposits held by 29 Metals, which was the biggest IPO last year. Currently, when it IPO'd, it was $1 million. It's come back slightly since then. The Isa North project was held by Newcrest since 2021, when we acquired the project for zero cash, with Newcrest maintaining a first right of refusal and a 1% NSR across the project in case we come across some exploration success. When we acquired the project, we're all out on our own, but as you can see, what's consistent with our Greenfield strategy is the moment we take entry into a certain region, we are quickly followed by majors, and in this case, we were quite happy to see Fortescue Metals Group join us, Rio join us, and Anglo American join us around this project. The project itself was previously held by Newcrest, as mentioned, and they did 4 targets worth of testing over a 5,000 metre drill program. Of the 4 targets tested, the Lorraine North target stood out with copper enrichment zone and interpreted Tier 1 halo, intercept indicating proximal to a hydrothermal system. Landholder access proved challenging for Newcrest, and at that point unable to secure landholder access in that region between those 2 horizontal lines. They walked away from the project and we were able to secure it, as I mentioned first, for zero cash up front. SER has gone on to secure landholder access across Nadu Station earlier this year. We're set on completing additional gravity surveys and magnetic surveys before we go in and test the whole area. Our neighbours to the north, Red Metal, had success last year with a copper intersection at GTK 2101, which borders the northern area of our tenement, and we look forward to them drilling more copper-related intersections and helping us in our strive for understanding what's happening in the region. Our third project, again consistent, undercover extensions of known mineralised terrains, is in the Cobar Basin in New South Wales, a proven mineral region with recent discoveries including Aurelia Metals Federation deposit. The South Cobar project captures the undercover extensions of the Wara Fault to the east, which hosts the Browns Reef polymetallic deposit and historical workings including the Ural mine, which was last worked in 1934. The most advanced of the targets on our project area is the Achilles 1 prospect, which was originally identified by Santa Fe Mining via soil sampling program, and a strong copper anomaly was later followed up with shallow drilling in 1998 by Savage Minerals, returning anomalous base metal values. Then in 2005, Western Plains came on, decided to drill 2 drill holes at the Achilles prospect. One of the holes didn't reach basement. The second hole, drilled proximal to the Achilles 1, returned some interesting copper numbers, 64 metres, averaging 0.1% copper. Since acquiring the project, SER has completed a detailed magnetic survey across the entire project, as you can see in this image here. And earlier this year, we completed a soil geochem survey over the most advanced and accessible target at the Achilles 1 prospect. In preparing for drilling, we applied for and received another New South Wales exploration grant to complete the diamond drill program, and currently planning is well advanced to get on ground later this year to test the Achilles 1 prospect. There's plenty of news flow from our neighbours, with AGC intersecting 85 metres at 0.13% copper at Achilles 3, which lies north on the same Achilles shear, and also Eastern Metals, who continue to return multiple mineralised intersections at the Brown Reef deposit, which flanks the eastern side of a project area. Our fourth Greenfields project is located within the highly prospective but underexplored region between the major copper-gold districts of East Tennant and Mount Isa. We're lured into the region following the $100 million commitment by Geoscience Australia and the Northern Territory Geological Survey as part of the Exploring for the Futures program. As a first mover, we quickly secured over 1,300 square kilometres of tenure, hosting numerous gravity and magnetic anomalies in search of Tennant Creek-style mineralisation as seen in the high-grade ironstone-hosted Tennant Creek deposits. Since grant, we've completed a detailed gravity survey, which was co-funded, and now the region is entirely locked up, and early exploration and success from Encounter and Midliner Resources have led us to continue exploration in this region. Last year, we received some co-funding to drill. We were the first junior explorer in this Greenfields region to put a diamond hole in. Fortunately, the results were not outstanding, but we've continued to work on the project and to get better understanding of exactly the best grav and mag targets to target. We've then received a third grant from NTGS to go on with an IP survey set to start later on this year. There's plenty of news to come from the region. We are one of many in there who took the large punt on such a large Greenfields project. There's over 30 holes now in the region. There's assays outstanding for over 10,000 metres worth of core that's been drilled, and we're looking forward to any of the explorers in that region having some form of success. Added bonus for shareholders, and one which has received very little attention from investors, is our farm-in joint venture with Fortescue Metals Group that was signed back in 2019. This was a different stage for the company back then. We signed the agreement, seeing FMG spending $1.5 million to get to 80%, but including a drilling metric associated with that, and that 1,500 metres worth of drilling. Things have progressed slowly, which is unfortunate for us as a junior, riding off the back of that news flow. To date, only an airborne RAD survey has been completed as native title discussions continue to slumber on. And we do hope that is cleared up later this year so FMG can get on ground and start drilling. This is what the next 9 months looks for SER across our 4 Greenfields projects. In summary, Canobie, we've completed the ground's gravity program, announced later this month when we have final data. We turn our attention to the geophysical model and then drill targeting across that project. At Isa North, one of the 2 landholder notifications have been completed, and we look forward to drill targeting and then eventually getting to drilling later on in the next 12 months. IP survey still ahead of us in East Tennant, and we also, on the back of that, wait for Myall Creek to get on ground and start exploration. So why invest in SER? SER is committed to targeting Tier 1 discoveries undercover, which takes a science-driven approach and strong collaborations with multiple agencies to make that happen. Today I've only focused on 4 of our major Greenfields projects, all of them located along the undercover extensions of known mineralised terrains. But what's not being covered today is some of the other projects that sit in our pipeline that are eager to continue divesting or to continue working up to the point they come divestable. With that, I hope I've held your attention long enough, and if we weren't on your watch list before, we are a very low market cap with a tight capital structure, and I hope you take the opportunity to look into us further. Thank you.